It's Friday night. The city is glowing. Group chats are buzzing. Someone just posted a crowded rooftop party on Instagram. Laughter, music, flashing lights. And you? You locked your door. You changed into something comfortable. The room is quiet, almost sacred. The only sound is the low hum of your laptop or the soft turning of a page. And here's the strange part. You don't feel lonely. You feel relieved. Relieved that no one needs anything from you. Relieved that you don't have to decode facial expressions, perform small talk, or laugh at jokes that drain more than they entertain. If you're one of the people who prefer to be alone, this feeling is deeply familiar. But somewhere in the back of your mind, there's a whisper. Is this normal? Because society has a script. Friday nights are supposed to be loud, social, electrifying. If you prefer silence, you must be antisocial, awkward, maybe even depressed. But what if none of that is true? What if your brain simply restores itself in stillness? What if the quiet isn't avoidance, but alignment? Right now, as you sit in that peaceful room, your nervous system might be doing something most people don't understand. Slowing down, rebalancing, returning to baseline. This isn't about hiding from the world, it's about how your mind is wired to experience it. Before we go any deeper, we need to clear up the biggest misunderstandings surrounding people who prefer to be alone. Loneliness and solitude are not the same thing, but culturally, we treat them as identical. Loneliness is a painful state. It's what happens when you crave connection and don't have it. It feels heavy, restless, sometimes even shameful. It's a biological alarm system, like hunger or thirst, and signaling that your social needs aren't being met. You can feel lonely in a crowded bar, lonely in a marriage, lonely sitting next to someone who doesn't really see you. Solitude is different. Solitude is chosen. It is intentional. It's the decision to step away, not because you're unwanted, but because your system needs quiet to recalibrate. For people who prefer to be alone, solitude often feels like exhaling after holding your breath all day. Your shoulders drop, your jaw unclenches, your thoughts become clearer. There's no ache, there's relief. Neurologically, loneliness activates stress responses. Cortisol rises, vigilance increases. But healthy solitude often activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Heart rate slows, muscles soften, the body shifts into restoration mode. One drains you, the other restores you. And confusing the two has caused countless people to question themselves unnecessarily. If you feel peaceful when you're alone, that isn't dysfunction, it's information. The real question isn't, why do I like being alone? It's, does my time alone feel like refuge or like exile? Here's something most people underestimate. Being around others is cognitively expensive. Every social interaction, no matter how casual, demands an extraordinary amount of mental processing. Your brain is constantly scanning. You're reading micro-expressions, interpreting tone shifts, monitoring your posture, adjusting your words in real time, calculating hierarchy, approval, subtle emotional cues. Even small talk requires rapid-fire prediction. Did that joke land? Did I say too much? Do they seem bored? For some nervous systems, this stimulation is energizing. It sparks dopamine and curiosity. But for people who prefer to be alone, this level of input can quietly overwhelm the system. It's not that you dislike people, it's that your cognitive load fills up faster. Think of it like bandwidth. Some brains thrive on multiple open tabs, noise, novelty, shifting conversations. Others operate best with one deep, immersive task. When too many tabs stay open for too long, the system slows. Focus fragments. Irritation creeps in. Modern life amplifies this overload. Social media notifications, group chats, open office layouts, networking culture. Your brain rarely gets to power down. So when you finally close the door and enter a quiet room, something profound happens. The scanning stops, the predicting stops, the self-monitoring softens. Your mind shifts from outward vigilance to inward processing. For people who prefer to be alone, solitude isn't withdrawal, it's cognitive recovery. It's not antisocial, it's neurological maintenance. So why does social stimulation energize some people and exhaust others? Part of the answer lies in your brain's reward circuitry. Most people are familiar with dopamine. It's often called the feel-good chemical, but that's only half true. Dopamine is really the anticipation chemical. It lights up when we chase something new. A conversation, a risk, a crowd, a reward. It thrives on novelty, movement, unpredictability. Highly extroverted nervous systems tend to be strongly dopamine-driven. The louder the room, the more potential stimulation. The more stimulation, the more reward. But for many people who prefer to be alone, a different pathway tends to dominate: acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is associated with calm focus, deep concentration, and inward-directed attention. Instead of rewarding novelty, it rewards depth. Instead of excitement, it rewards immersion. When you're alone, reading for hours, writing, building something complex, or simply thinking without interruption, acetylcholine quietly activates, and it feels good, steady, centered, clear. Here's the crucial part. A brain optimized for acetylcholine doesn't experience high dopamine environments as pleasurable. It experiences them as overstimulating. A loud party, an open-plan office, constant networking. It's not just not fun, it can feel physically draining. Too much data, too many signals, too many variables to track. This doesn't mean you lack dopamine. Every human has both systems. But the balance differs, and that balance shapes what feels rewarding versus overwhelming. When you close the door and sit in silence, your parasympathetic nervous system often activates. Heart rate slows, breathing deepens. Your mind shifts into what neuroscientists call the default mode network, a state associated with reflection, memory integration, and creative insight. For people who prefer to be alone, solitude isn't emptiness, it's neurochemical alignment. To really understand people who prefer to be alone, we have to go back, not to last week, not to last year, but to childhood. Some aspects of solitude are not learned. They are temperament. From infancy, researchers observe differences in nervous system sensitivity. Some babies are highly reactive to noise, light, and unfamiliar faces. Others adapt quickly. This early sensitivity often grows into what we later call introversion, or high sensory processing sensitivity. For these children, the world is simply louder, more intense, more stimulating. Alone time isn't rejection, it's regulation. But temperament is only part of the story. Attachment matters too. If a child grows up in an environment where emotional needs are inconsistently met, they may learn early self-reliance, not because they dislike connection, but because it feels unpredictable. Solitude becomes familiar, safe. In some cases, children who are intellectually ahead of their peers, gifted, deeply reflective, different, also experience subtle social mismatch. They learn to entertain themselves internally, to build rich inner worlds. Over time, that inner world becomes home. It's important to distinguish this from trauma-driven withdrawal. Healthy solitude feels stabilizing. Trauma-based isolation feels guarded, hypervigilant, tense. Ask yourself, when you're alone, does your body soften or brace? For many people who prefer to be alone, their early wiring simply favored inward processing. Their nervous system learned that quiet equals clarity, that independence equals safety, that reflection equals control. This isn't a flaw, it's an adaptation, shaped by temperament, reinforced by experience. And once a nervous system learns that solitude restores equilibrium, it continues seeking that equilibrium throughout life. If humans survived by forming tribes, why would evolution preserve people who prefer to be alone? At first glance, it seems contradictory. Survival depended on cooperation, bonding, shared defense. So why would natural selection keep individuals who gravitated toward the edge of the group? Because every tribe needed watchers. Imagine an early human camp at dusk. Most of the group is gathered around the fire, talking, laughing, reinforcing bonds. Social cohesion matters, but cohesion alone doesn't ensure survival. Someone has to notice the subtle rustling in the grass, the slight shift in wind direction, the unfamiliar pattern in the stars. Highly social individuals strengthen relationships, but solitary-minded individuals strengthen perception. They tolerate long stretches of silence. They scan patterns. They think ahead. From an evolutionary standpoint, cognitive diversity increases group resilience. A tribe composed entirely of high-stimulation seekers might overlook slow, quiet threats. A tribe composed entirely of observers might lack cohesion. Balance matters. People who prefer to be alone often demonstrate strengths aligned with this observer role. Sustained focus, independent problem-solving, long-term planning, deep pattern recognition. This isn't romantic mythology. It's a plausible adaptive advantage. Different nervous systems specialize in different tasks, and specialization enhances survival. Every campfire needed connection, but it also needed someone sitting slightly apart watching the horizon. If solitude feels natural to you, it may reflect an ancient pattern. The nervous system of someone wired not for constant interaction, but for awareness. There is, however, a line, and it's thinner than most people realize. Solitude can be strength, but isolation can become a cage. The difference isn't how much time you spend alone, it's why you're alone. Healthy solitude feels chosen. It feels peaceful. When you close the door, your body softens, your breathing slows, your mind becomes clearer, not darker. You leave your alone time feeling restored, not smaller. Trauma-driven isolation feels different. You're not moving toward quiet, you're escaping threat. Maybe it's fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear that if people get too close, they'll hurt you or leave. The body doesn't relax in this kind of aloneness. It braces, thoughts loop, rumination replaces reflection. Healthy solitude expands you. Isolation shrinks you. For people who prefer to be alone, this distinction is crucial. Loving quiet doesn't mean you're avoiding life. But if your world keeps getting smaller, fewer calls returned, more invitations declined, increasing anxiety around connection, it may be worth gently asking why. Here's a simple internal test. When you imagine meaningful connection, not loud crowds, but safe, authentic closeness, does your body feel curious or threatened? If the answer is threatened, that's not a personality trait, that's protection. And protection, while understandable, sometimes needs healing. Solitude should feel like refuge, not exile. There's another layer to this conversation, one that often surprises people. Research has suggested a curious pattern. Individuals with higher cognitive ability sometimes report lower life satisfaction from frequent social interaction. Evolutionary psychologists Satoshi Kanazawa and Norman Lee proposed what became known as the Savannah theory of happiness. Their findings suggested that while most people feel happier with more social contact, highly intelligent individuals often show the opposite trend. Why would that be? One explanation is cognitive prioritization. Highly analytical minds tend to orient toward long-term goals, abstract thinking, and complex problem solving. Deep work requires uninterrupted cognitive bandwidth. Social interaction, especially small talk, gossip, or repetitive conversations, can feel less rewarding because it diverts attention from internally driven pursuits. This doesn't mean intelligent people dislike connection. It means their reward system may be calibrated differently. For people who prefer to be alone, especially those drawn to reflection, creation, or strategic thinking, solitude may not signal detachment. It may signal optimization. There's also a trade-off. High cognitive complexity often comes with heightened sensitivity, existential questioning, or feeling out of sync with mainstream social rhythms. That mismatch can amplify the appeal of solitude. But intelligence is not destiny. The key insight isn't, I'm alone because I'm smarter. It's this: different minds extract fulfillment from different environments. For some brains, stimulation equals energy. For others, depth equals meaning. Now layer all of this onto modern culture. We live in a world that openly rewards visibility. From early childhood, classrooms often favour the loudest hand in the air. Participation grades, group projects, presentations. In the workplace, confidence is frequently equated with competence. The most outspoken person in the meeting is often perceived as the leader, even when the quiet one has the deeper analysis. This is what many psychologists call extrovert bias. It's subtle, but powerful. Then social media amplified it. Platforms are designed around constant output, posting, reacting, commenting, performing. Every notification is a microdose of dopamine. The system favours those who engage frequently and publicly. For people who prefer to be alone, this environment can feel exhausting. Not because they lack social skill, but because the pace and intensity rarely allow cognitive recovery. Add hustle culture to the mix, networking events, personal branding, always-on availability, and solitude starts to look like deviance instead of balance. But here's the irony: burnout rates are rising, attention spans are shrinking, anxiety is increasing. In a hyper-stimulated world, the ability to disconnect may actually be adaptive. Many individuals who thrive in remote work, deep focus careers, or creative solitude discovered during recent cultural shifts that their nervous system performs best with fewer interruptions. The culture may reward noise, but sustainability often belongs to those who understand when to step away from it. So where does this leave you? If you're one of the people who prefer to be alone, the goal isn't to change your wiring, it's to understand it and use it wisely. Solitude becomes powerful when it's intentional. Protect your quiet time, the way others protect their gym schedule or business meetings. Block it on your calendar. Treat it as maintenance for your nervous system. Because for you, it is. But protection doesn't mean disconnection. The healthiest version of solitude still allows room for meaningful connection, not constant interaction, not loud environments, but depth, one-on-one conversations, shared silence, people who don't drain you but understand your pace. Learn to communicate your need for space without apologizing for it. I recharge alone. I need quiet to think. That's not rejection, that's self-awareness. And watch for the warning signs we talked about earlier. If your world keeps shrinking, if avoidance replaces choice, that's a signal, not of weakness, but of something needing care. True strength is balance. Solitude should expand your thinking, not limit your life. It should sharpen your focus, not wall you off from belonging. In a world that constantly demands your attention, choosing stillness is an act of clarity. If this video helped you understand your mind, or finally put words to something you've felt for years, consider subscribing. We explore the quiet, complex layers of human psychology here. And in the comments below, I'd love to know, what's your favourite thing to do when you're completely alone? Let's build a space where silence isn't misunderstood, it's respected. Thank you for watching.